Hantaviruses are a group of viruses that naturally infect rodents, that's rats or mice and the likes. Now, these viruses are zoonotic in nature, meaning they can be transmitted from these rodents to humans. While it's important to note that hantaviruses can cause severe illness and even death in human beings, it must also be said that these viruses are not easily spread from person to person. The primary route of transmission of hantavirus is from an infected rodent through their feces, their urine, or their saliva, especially when humans come in contact with them. Now, this contact can be touching an object that already has such infected droppings and then touching your mouth or your nose. Also, it can be through inhaling contaminated dust when cleaning areas that have these infected droppings. And inside this dust, you now have the aerosolized particles that people inhale. That can be another source of the infection. It's possible to get this virus from an animal bite or a scratch, that is from an infected rodent. Then to add to that, if some of these droppings or urine or saliva gets in contact with food and that food is ingested by a person, the person can get infected with hantavirus. Apart from transmission from the animal to humans, in very rare cases, the hantavirus can be transmitted from one human being to another. Now, this, like I said, is very rare and it's actually associated with a particular type known as the Andes hantavirus, which is currently the one that is being discussed. The Andes hantavirus can be transmitted from one person to another through prolonged close contact. Unlike the coronavirus, COVID-19, which could easily be transmitted through casual contact, the Andes hantavirus actually requires prolonged close contact for transmission, and this will involve contact with the person's saliva or respiratory secretions. It is actually not very easily transmitted from person to person. Symptoms of hantavirus can start between 1 week to 8 weeks of exposure to the virus, and in the early stages they are often non-specific: fever, headaches, muscle pains, weakness, just general symptoms that don't point in any particular direction. However, in the later stages and when the illness gets more severe, people now present with cough, chest tightness, difficulty breathing, and then people might end up with what is called HPS, that's hanta-pulmonary syndrome, which is a very severe case of the virus. And that has often been associated with a high mortality rate. In the most severe cases, people can come down with hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, which has a very significant rate of mortality and can be quite fatal. Prevention of hantavirus is mostly aligned in the direction of the primary route of transmission, which is from the infected rodents. So, of course, ensuring that the environment is clean and free of rodents, ensuring that areas to which these animals can get into the house or the home are sealed off. Also ensuring that food is stored in such a way that these animals do not have access to drop their fecal matter on it. For people who are concerned that they might have come in contact with this virus, either due to exposure to infected rodents through an animal bite or by inhaling dust particles in contaminated areas, it's important that you seek medical attention from a tertiary facility, preferably one that has an intensive care unit. That is a critical point in the care of hantavirus disease conditions.